Happy Saturday, everyone. I got a question that I'm going to attempt to answer today. Someone was saying, Bob, I've tried... Oh, let me wipe that camera off a little bit there. Okay. Bob, I have tried to get on the carnivore diet, and I just can't seem to make it stick. I forget what she said, 8-9 days in and just can't hold up anymore. So this is my attempt at helping her out and anybody else out there that might be having these same problems. And even if you've been on carnivore for a while, there may be a couple of tips in here that you've kind of forgotten about. So we're going to talk about that just a little bit today while I go out and take a pretty good walk. I'm going on a different route today just because it's been a while since I've walked somewhere different. I normally go on up to the top of that hill, but we're going to turn left up this street and see where it leads us. I am Semiretired Bob. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. What you're watching is you're watching me walk. I know that doesn't seem really exciting, but if you consider a little less than 3 years ago, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand for a couple of minutes without severe pain. And now I'm out here walking every day in any kind of weather. It gets a bit more interesting. Speaking of any kind of weather, if you've seen my most recent videos, I've been out walking in a light jacket for the last several days because it's been in the 60s every day. It's not, for this time of year, it's not cold. I'm not going to say it's cold, but it is 27 degrees, which is significantly colder than it has been for the last few days. But it's supposed to warm up again tomorrow, so it's not so bad. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. It means a lot to me that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. I would like to ask everyone to help me out here just a little bit. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Drop down in the comments and say, hi, Bob. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All of these things are absolutely free and help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I'm 61 years old, and I'm doing things I couldn't do when I was 40, like out here walking every day. That hill that I normally go up going the other way, this hill's not quite as big, but I can still tell I'm going uphill. And there's a guy up there using the vacuum on his car. I did get my truck back yesterday. For those that didn't see the live stream, I completely understand. Some of you don't have time for an hour sit-down chat. The primary problem that got fixed, we hope, well, there were two. The slow drain on the battery, Dwayne's pretty sure it was coming from my trailer brake controller. And since my trailer does not have trailer brakes, he just took that out. And we're going to see what happens. The occasional hard starting problem was, what did he call it? A fuel pressure regulator valve. Rick explained what it does in the live stream. I'm not a mechanical guy, but I did notice that my truck ran significantly better when I drove it home. And I'm going to specifically not start it until it's time to go to dance class on Tuesday, just to see. It ran yesterday, so all Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So it'll be 4 days. Hopefully that'll give me an idea if the draw has been taken care of or not, or if we need to keep looking. But anyway, let's get on into this topic for today. A lot of this you've probably heard before, but I thought perhaps putting it all in one place might help this person that's having troubles. First off, before you start, you've slowly done your transition and now you're ready to go. And if you've false started carnivore 5 or 6 or 7 times, you probably don't need to do a huge transition because you've been there a few times. But before you even start, get all the crap out of the house if it's possible. Now, I know if you have a family and they're not going to do this with you, that makes it harder, because if you live alone, you can just take all the junk and throw it away, so that if you get tempted to have some junk, you have to get in the car and go somewhere and get that junk, which makes it harder. After you've gotten all the junk out of your house, you need to be prepared for when those cravings and things hit. So have some burger patties pre-cooked and in the fridge. If you'd like them cold, you can just eat them right out of the fridge. But if not, because I'm not wild about cold beef, but you can pull them out of the fridge, throw them in the microwave for just a moment, and have yourself a nice hot meal of hamburger patties. Keep some boiled eggs in there. Keep some pre-cooked bacon in your fridge. All of these things will help when those other cravings start to come along. Some of the other things you can do is when you first start to feel a craving and you feel yourself like you might break and have something you're not supposed to, distract yourself. It's fairly well documented that cravings will pass after about 20 minutes. So go for a short walk, sit down and read a book, do something to distract yourself for 20 minutes or so. Even if it's, go put a load of laundry in. Do something to distract yourself. And now if distracting yourself doesn't work, the next line of defense against cravings is, that car was going plenty fast down this side street. The next line of defense is have a pinch of salt. Now, I want to go into this really quickly about salt, because I know a lot of people just starting say, well, salt is salt, isn't it, Bob? No. Without mentioning any names, if you pick up one of those round blue tubes that everybody probably has in their pantry of Umbrella Girl salt, if you read the ingredients on that, it doesn't just say salt. There's also a form of sugar in that. So, putting a pinch of sugar-laden salt on your tongue isn't going to do you any good. So get yourself a good, I use Redmond's real salt, not sponsored, but there are many really good salts out there that are just salt. Now, be aware, the one thing I always caution people on when they're first getting started, there is a thing out there called pink Himalayan salt. And That's a really good salt if you're buying the real stuff. If you're at one of the popular online retailers and there's a big price for a small bottle or a little price for a great big tub. Now, I'm not saying that any salt companies out there would do something underhanded, but there are some salts out there that are claiming on their label to be pink Himalayan salts that are basically just regular old mixed up salt colored pink. So be aware. If the deal looks too good to be true, it probably is. Another warning on this kind of stuff, because I know a lot of people like to cook in olive oil when they get started. I certainly did. I didn't feel my best when I cooked my eggs in olive oil. I thought it was the eggs making me sick, but it wasn't. So many olive oils out there that claim to be 100% pure extra virgin olive oil. If you read the ingredients, you will find that a lot of those extra virgin olive oils that are claiming to be 100% pure are mixed with canola oil to make it cheaper. So read the labels, and if you find one that is significantly cheaper than all the rest, there's probably a reason it is significantly cheaper than all the rest. We're on the back side of that school. When I normally walk out to Center Street and back, that way about a quarter of a mile or so, maybe even a half, is the other street that I normally walk by the school on. But today we're on the back side. This is where all the pickups and stuff happen. Pickups and drop-offs. Because during school hours, this is a one-way street. So that cars that are picking up and dropping off kids can form a double lane and still let people get through on the far side. Do they do that where you're from? I had never encountered that, because most schools have a big parking lot where I come from, and cars would pull into the parking lot to wait to pick up their kids. But now they've got and this is not the only one, I've seen a few of them around town that have one-way streets next to them during school hours. Sorry, that's just a side note. Now, those are the tips that I normally give. Now, the other thing I'm going to tell this person is don't despair. If you make it 8 days before you break, don't think about it as, oh, I broke again, I failed. No, you did 8 days of carnivore. And after you recover from your fall, jump right back on the wagon and go again. And this time, just shoot for 9 days. Add one extra day. You know, if the cravings are getting so bad, because carbohydrate withdrawal is a real thing. It can be just as tough to kick sugar as it is to kick any of the illicit drugs that are out there. I don't personally know, but Scotty had a channel. I'm not even sure if he's still making videos or not, but he talked about this a lot. You know, kicking the sugar habit is hard. So don't beat yourself up if you fall. Just smile and say, hey, I made it an extra day this time. And then get right back on it and shoot for 9. And then the next time, shoot for 10 days. And as that period between falls gets longer and longer, I suspect that when you get out to the point where you're shooting for a full 2 weeks, 14 days, you're going to look up and go, oh, wow, I'm on day 16 of going for 14 days. And I still don't feel like I want anything. That's when you know you've won and you're on your way. It can be a long, hard process. You know, you may false start 20, 30, 40 times. It may take you a couple of years to get to the point where you've broken your sugar addiction. But every day you don't break and you eat healthy is a win. Don't look at the breaks. Look at the consecutive days you made it through. And the last thing I'm going to talk about before I flip the camera around, because we're coming up on noisier streets here, I am taking quite a bit longer walk today because I like walking in this kind of weather. One of the, where was I? Yeah. One of the other things that will help keep you from breaking, it may only help keep you breaking for one more day, but remember what your why is. Remember, I don't think, now there are some that do very well with it, but I don't think the nebulous, well, I want to be healthier, is enough of a why to keep you on track. You need something very solid and very tangible. I want to be able to take my dog for a walk. I want to be able to take my little doggie to the doggy park. I want to get down on the floor and play with my grandkids. I want to be able to take my grandkids to the zoo. Whatever your why is, keeping that right there in front of you at all times will help with the cravings and the break. Because let's say it's getting down on the floor to play with your grandkids. As you're standing there in front of the cupboard thinking about breaking, think about this first. Do I want that food X, whatever it happens to be, more than I want to get down on the floor and play with my grandkids? That's a question only you can answer. Now, some of the times the cravings are going to be so strong because, like I said, breaking a sugar addiction is not easy. It can be very, very hard. And there are going to be those days where you look at it and say, yes, I want that cupcake more than I want to get down on the kids and down on the floor and play with my grandkids. It's going to happen. But if you realize it's going to happen, you can just smile and go on with your day. And then the next time, be a little stronger. Anyway, I have certainly rambled on enough today. We're coming up on Center Street. from the backside here. So I'm going to go ahead, flip the camera around, play some music, and I'll have some final Saturday thoughts when we get back to the house. Okay, cut the music. If you were watching closely during the music section, there was a spot back there where I set my camera down. I was getting a drink of water out of my bottle of water in my pocket. Don't forget to stay hydrated. When you're out here and it's hot and you're sweating, it's very easy to remember to drink water. But when it's cold out, like it is now, I should have brought my face mask, because it is 27, but the wind is coming out of the northeast and it's really cold. But I'm almost back to the house. But yeah, so don't forget to stay hydrated, even in cold weather. That's a good walk. It's only about a mile further than my normal loop. That's about a 2.5 mile loop. But where my normal loop, I start off with that long hill, and then it's basically downhill all the way around to the corner. And then a long uphill climb back to my street, and then downhill back to the house. If you've been watching and noticing, this route has a lot more uphill and downhill on it. So even though it's only about a 2.5 mile loop, the walking workout is a lot closer to a 3.5 or 4 mile loop, because there's a lot of up and down in there. But don't forget, it's Saturday. It's time for weekly wins. Drop down in the comments and tell me what your win for the week was. Mine just happened on this walk. It's the one other thing I want to talk about. It's very easy to have great plans for what you're going to do. Like me, I left the house planning on making this loop. But with each step, especially while I was still talking to you on the other side, I pass about 8 streets. Hello, dog. I pass about 8 streets that cut back through over to this one. And it's very easy to have those thoughts of, let's go ahead and cut this walk a little short. Nobody will know. Nobody will care. But I decided for myself that I was going to do this, and having the mental fortitude to follow through on your plans can be tough. But that's my win for the week. Just right there, I did not take any of the shortcuts. I did the entire walk that I'd planned to do, even though my face was really starting to get cold. Hopefully some of what I said today made sense. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.